Good evening, everyone. Welcome to class number 30 of Advanced Course in Drones for Development. And I can't stop smiling today because it feels that, okay, one more thing that we tried to do together has been accomplished. And I feel slightly more successful today, thanks to all of you, thanks to all my friends from all over the world who volunteered to come and speak in these classes and teach and share their views and their experiences so generously. I really can't stop thanking each and every one of you for making this journey superb. So, where do we go from here? This is the day number 30, and tomorrow you would probably start getting your certificates for completion of the course. And this course was called Advanced Course in Drones for Development for a Purpose. And the idea was that tomorrow, if you become drone professionals or you become development professionals, you have to somewhere match these two things together and start working for the society as a whole. And have we achieved it or have we not achieved it? And a major aspect of achieving this goal is how to pass on your learning to others and how to take this baton forward. And the major part of that is about education and empowerment. Now, education, we all understand that this is a part of education, learning something which is a topic which is being given to you, and we all come together, we learn something, and we learn more. But what about empowerment? What is empowerment? Yesterday we had Corina talk about empowerment slightly when we asked her how does she feel being a surveyor and a women surveyor. She said, I feel empowered. And she kept repeating that again and again, at least once, twice, thrice. And she couldn't explain that further, but the word empowered itself is a very powerful word in itself. So, who are the people that we want to empower through education and through collaborations or through technology transfers or through capacity building? Let's not forget that many of us are superb and fortunate to be born in places which have easy access to technology and education and opportunities. But many of us are fortunately, unfortunately, not so so open to receiving these gifts from the society. So our contribution would probably mean that let's do something for them. All right. So one thing is that tomorrow, if you become drone professional, how would probably you go about doing your duties and the responsibilities at the same time taking care of the business aspect of everything? I'm not saying that everybody should become a social entrepreneur. That's not really important. But having social responsibility probably should be a part of balancing your work and your commitment towards the society. So let me just present a very tiny thing to you. I hope my screen is visible. Okay. So, talking about the path to be a drone professional.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. So, let's talk about the path to be a drone professional. Let's start early and keep it simple. And what I mean is starting early, let's start with the school children. And this was a picture taken from our workshop in Philippines where we were working with the tribal children and they were flying drones for the first time in their life. Many of them had never even seen a mobile phone or used a mobile phone in their families. But today they were flying drones, and you should have really been there to see the excitement. These people were so grateful that they received something called a technology which can fly, and they were able to operate it themselves within about 45 minutes of instruction, not even more. This is empowerment, when you make them feel that it's not a very precious technology that only I can touch and you cannot touch, and I'll show you and you just have to watch from a distance. But you can handle it, you can touch it, you can fly, you can break, you can crash, you can do whatever you want, and there is nothing to fear. So empowering somebody by removing the fear, removing that prestige from that technology, extremely very important. And keep it very simple. Don't make it very complex that, you know what, this is a robot which is flying in the air and it has got such complicated technologies that it's so difficult to learn about it. Oh, hello. No. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it so easy that anybody can fly and everybody should fly. Why not? Get the drone pilot training as soon as you are ready. So if your country says that you should be 16 years or 18 years of age, look at it just like a driver's license. So I remember when I turned 18, my uncle had told me a few things that I should do as soon as I become 18, and the first of that was get a driving license. So it's like as essential as that. Tomorrow drones will become a commodity, they'll be everywhere. And if we have to be future ready, drone pilot training should be a part of it. Just as you have camera today in your mobile phones, and we all do photography with our mobile phone, tomorrow you would be doing drone photography, and it will be a part of your regular kit. So why not get ready for it? So as soon as possible, as in how your regulations are smoothened out, get the drone pilot training. Learn the basic GIS tools. We discussed some basic GIS tools in this course. Learn them even better. We will be also holding some courses for that. You can wait for it or you can go ahead yourself. Almost every website has a tutorial. Go through it and get it done. Learn image post processing, and this is extremely important. This is something which many of us miss. And what I have seen is some of the drone shots are so amazing that each drone shot sells for about $200 in the open sites. So if you are able to achieve that mastery, why not? So image processing becomes an extremely important part of it. So do it. Even as professionals, as if let's say if you become surveyors or if you become GIS professionals with drones, these all skills will be extremely important to you. And learn photogrammetry. We taught you a bit of basics of photogrammetry. There's a lot more to it. When you learn more, you will understand. Learn about the various camera and the sensors. We discussed almost all of these sensors in the camera during this course. Go into the depth of it. Remember how some speakers, if you just ask them one question, they would go on and on about it. That's how it is. When you work with technologies closely, you understand them even better, and you would be able to say that no, this camera doesn't work here. This camera works. What is hyperspectral? What is multispectral? What is RGB? What is lidar? What is everything. I mean, so just learn. That's the key. Learn about drone parts and repairs. This is extremely important for you to be self-reliant. If your drone breaks down in the middle of a mission, don't be helpless. At least know the basics of how to fix it. Basic electronics. And learn the data management process, which is extremely important. As even we told you during disasters, the data management was the biggest challenge, and everybody had probably discussed that with you as well. So the data management process has to be absolutely lean and absolutely organized. That should become a part of it. Discover your uniqueness. The assignment that I gave you yesterday was about discovering your niche. What is the niche in this entirely crowded market? Now, it doesn't look very crowded right now because it's still emerging, but if you look from inside, you would know that it's already very crowded. As we see in India, we see so many of the drone pilots who are out there who don't have projects. So unless you find a niche for yourself, you probably will not get the kind of projects that you want or you deserve. Learn advanced project applications as we did over here in disasters, let's say, or in whatever thing that you want. Go into the depth of that subject matter. You achieve your mastery. And achieving mastery, it's not just, let's say, if you comfortably fly a quadcopter, don't stop at that. Learn the advanced drones as well and probably even invest in them. As we saw that probably drones like these were extremely in demand when it comes to high quality, high grade data. So look for them. I mean, probably start investing in these kind of technologies early on in your startup or in your profession or in your department. Safety first, never ever ignore. Remember Kanav's lecture, he spoke about safety so well. Safety should become your first and primary objective. Even when we do school courses, we give them spectacles to wear, the safety glasses, so that the first lecture that they have with drones, they learned safety on day one and they never ever forget that instruction. Never compromise on ethics. Always think about the impact that your technology can have on people, on communities, and probably leave a scar on their in their memories forever. So do not be a part of a project or a mission which can inadvertently create a conflict in people's mind, or create a fear, or create a kind of repulsion for these technologies in their mind. Collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. This is the mantra that I have followed from day one. As an outsider coming into this industry, I had nothing else but to do but collaborate with the amazing people that I found along my journey. And within a very short period, we became a part of the Flying Labs network, which is in 26 countries now. And today, if you see my partners network, it looks like this, and this is evolving again. And we are absolutely open for partnerships with anyone. So if it's organizations or institutions or academics or service provider or manufacturer, if value systems match, we are absolutely open for collaboration. And this is the reason why we had such an amazing course today, because many of them had become a part of your training program. And so the learning happens, the sharing happens, and that's how we grow together. So me as an individual and as my company, I call Caerobotics as a social impact consultancy firm. And what do I mean by that? Where else are we focusing on as India Flying Labs and as Caerobotics? It's first preparedness, especially for disasters, for healthcare, for anything where you need to be well prepared so that you're not running around in times of emergencies. And preparedness means that you create an ecosystem beforehand with the government, with the partners, with the technologists, everyone, so that it's all ready for you. And when the time comes, you are just able to cook very quickly and give it and serve it very nicely. Sustainability is the second part. Everything that we do, we focus on sustainability of all our projects. And of course, improving the access to technologies is our core goal. Open collaboration, as I told you a minute back. Promote the local innovation. This is extremely important for me, even as my personal value system. That if there is a technology available locally, I would rather use that rather than import something. And if not, then we would probably start brainstorming of how that technology can be produced locally or maintained locally or owned locally. That's extremely important. This is again a value system which I share with V Robotics, and that's how even at India Flying Labs we are carrying on that principle. Education and empowerment, as I told you, it's extremely important for us that it's not just about me getting smarter. I'll get smarter only when community around me gets smarter. Capacity building, it's not just about my tiny team which learns all about drones, all about data, and then we say we come in as superheroes and start saying that, you know what, we'll do it for you. We really don't believe in that. As Vanya told you even the other day, it's all about empowering others as well. So capacity building of the governments, of institutions, of societies, of communities, of organizations, that's a part of our work. Supporting entrepreneurship, we hold mentorship programs. Like if there is a potential company or a team that is absolutely passionate about what they're doing and they need just a little bit of support in launching their company or in getting in touch with potential stakeholders, we do the connect for them without expecting anything in return. This is a little bit of how we are creating ecosystem from our side, and we are trying to create a social impact. Local challenges, local solutions is what we are trying to focus on. So wherever we work, what is the challenge that they're trying to solve, and how can you localize your solution? So the technology can come in, let's say, from Mumbai to a particular village like this, but if you can work with the teams which are present in that particular village or district, then it helps localize the technology so that you have ensured that the challenges are completely understood and the people who are working with this technology are going to use it for the right reasons at the right time. So this is from my side, and I would like to welcome Dania once again from Panama. And Dania, you yourself are an amazing woman, absolutely empowered and one of the best leaders of the Flying Labs community. So thank you very much for accepting my invitation, for being a part of the course finale, and helping us understand your ideas about education and empowerment. Over to you, Dania.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That are wonderful words. Give me 1 second. I want to share this. Well, thank you very much once again, Ruchi, my dear friend Ruchi. Thanks a lot. Well, I think I saw you last Friday, and today is the last day in advanced course in drones for development. That's wonderful. That's great. 30 days of a constant participation. That's great. Congratulations to every one of you. Thanks to Caerobotics Education, especially to you, Ruchi, for your kindly invitation to be part of this wonderful program. And I've been invited for two sessions. This is the second session, is to talk about education and empowerment. And this for me is like, I like this part. I love this part a lot, a lot. Uh, as you know, I'm the Flying Labs, the Panama Flying Labs coordinator, and we look every time for the harnessing the power of robotics for social good. And talking about social good, of course, we consider education and empowerment. I haven't put my time in because I talk too much. Thanks God I'm talking in English and I don't have too much words in English. So I will talk less. That's normal. Let's start. Let's talk about education and empowerment. And first, to talk about education and empowerment, you need a great team. And for me, this is our staff. This is part of our staff at Fly Labs Panama. And you need to have in your team, talking about education, not the persons that know the most, but persons that have learned, that love training, who love transference of acknowledgement. And if you ask me here, when we start, most of them were from the university. Well, we all work at the university, but a lot of them were volunteers. Actually, Anna, she's an engineer in aeronautical. He continues at the university. He studies mechanical engineer. This is our lab director. She is working in her thesis. He actually became an engineer, with me, and he came from Australia as a volunteer. And believe me, when we talk about education and empowerment in terms of drones, it's not just about the drone or even about the unmanned surface vehicle that you see here. This is a catamaran that we received from the University of Pennsylvania. And these guys invest about more than 2 months adequating the equipment for our ocean. And here we were making a running test. So it's a lot of compromise. It's a lot of compromise when we talk about education. And how do we start? We start with demonstrations and trainings since October 2018. When you want to educate persons, when you want to wake up their interest in the drones as a tool, you have to demonstrate them what you are able to do with the drones. And when we talk about drones and empowerment, when we talk about that education that we want to transfer at Panama or in America, in our case, the first acronym that came in my mind are the SDG 2030. And for us at Panama Fly Labs and being part of a Fly Lab networks, as a social enterprise, this is a priority. Build capacity and contribute with the compliance of these global goals, the SDG. So this is how we start. We start giving a lot of demo to different organizations. As I told you, in October 2018, we invite more than 54 organizations. We arranged 1 week of entire demos of the drones and how they can be used. That week we made a lot of co-creation workshops. And this is how we did it. Once again, it's not just about the drones. For our lab, the most valuable resource is the people, as I told you, and for us is the staff. And we believe in training. Obviously, we are located in a university. And you will say, like, she's talking about a university, and she has in the screen like a very beautiful crop. And yes, we believe in universities, but we believe that we have to reach that area that need education. And that's what we did with one of our pilot projects. We went and we visit an area where a part of our government, the Ministry of Agriculture, is very engaged. This is an area of Panama where we have like the 75 of our products came from this area, and it's very far away. It's about well, for us in Panama, we are a very small country. It's about 12 hours by car. Well, to reach the main city, then you have to make a lot to go to the hills. And we went here and we developed a pilot project in alliance with the government, with the Ministry of Agriculture, named Photogrammetry with drones in potato and onion fields. They use to monitor and survey this area by walking. And yes, you can do it, but you can do it in a better way if you use the drones. And how we do it? Well, as I told you, we went in the camp, we invite the experts, we make some demos, and we make a workshop. We make a training. We train them for about 2 days. We train them. If they don't have time and enough resources to come to university, the university came where they were to give them solution. And how do we do it? How do we train them? With our programs, professional capacity building for drones and drone data analysis. This is what we offer. We offer drone piloting and data acquisition training courses. We offer drone data processing and analysis training courses. We offer drone piloting certification course and pilot projects. As I explained, we combine a lot. We do a lot of pilot projects and then we train because we believe in the power of locals. Here, this image is a group of students from school. This is not a university, this is a school, and they had a drone, but they didn't know how to use it. And we were engaged in a pilot project, and through the pilot project, the organizer of that pilot project, she talked with us and explained us about this institute, and we say, okay, we will have 1 day for them so they can take advantage of their drone. And we did it. Why we do it? Once again, and with the presentation Ruchi already did, I think she explained why we do it. We believe that since the persons has the ability to understand about drones, this is a good opportunity to teach them how they can do it, what they can obtain, always in an ethic and responsibility way. This is very important for us. And we start programs from kids until professionals. This is a training timeline of what we have done since October 2018. As I explained you, what we offer, I told you about pilot projects. We start with pilot projects, and the results of our pilot projects were 3 pilot projects selected. What we did, we organize, we make tailor-made trainings. We start with a pilot training at December 2018. We trained 13 persons, 4 organizations, with a training of 8 hours. We train them in drone piloting and data acquisition. After that, at the same December, we went to that province I mentioned previously, but not focused in agriculture. We were focused in this training. We were focused in infrastructure surveys. and we went to AES. This is a private corporation, a very big corporation at Panama. We trained 15 persons. We gave 32 hours of training in drone piloting and data acquisition and data processing and analysis. 5 months later, we returned at AES, and we trained 15 professionals. This time we didn't train them. We certified them in alliance with the Aeronautical Authority in Panama, the authority in charge of giving you your license. We went in alliance with them, and we certified the team of persons we have trained previously. September 2019, we invite for tenders and calls, and we select three pilot projects, win, and we train them. We start the process of training. The first team was training at the university. UTP is Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá. UTP, Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá. We trained one NGO. The name of the NGO is Proyecto Ecológico Azuero. 4 persons were trained in 24 hours of training, 3 days of training. The second pilot project, we went to Veraguas, is a beach. We trained 2 NGOs, 1 private company. At the end, 8 persons were trained. 8 hours of training were given per day. We spent like 3 days there. And 2 nights of demo. And you will say, 2 nights of demo? Yes, because these, don't tell anybody, but this is my favorite project. We monitored turtles with thermal cameras, and it was a wonderful pilot project we did in alliance with a private company and 2 NGOs, because they protect the nesting process of the turtles every year. So we train them how use. I'm sorry for the dogs. I love dogs, and now they are very excited with my presentation and thing. That's where they are barking. And we train them how using the thermal cameras, the drones with thermal cameras, but we have to do it in the night. So we spend a lot of time without sleeping, but it was one of the greatest experience I ever had in my life. At the end, I was mom of 108 little turtles, because we identify a turtle using the thermal camera, and we did all the process for taking out the eggs, to put it in a nest, etc., etc. September 2019, we launched our first editions for kids training. The name in Spanish, Los niños también pueden ser pilotos. We trained 1 public school, more than 12 kids were trained using micro drones. I'm telling about the Telo and or Mambo. We use in this case Telo drones. 1 day of training. We continue. November was a very moved month. We had another pilot project. We gave a professional training, but this time in another country. We moved to Central America. We are part of Central America. We moved to our sister country, El Salvador. There we trained 15 persons, 5 NGOs, 16 hours of training, mostly in pilot data acquisition, and a little of pilot of data process and analysis. By November, part of our team was at another country of another region of Chiriquí, training 9 persons, 16 hours of training, including 1 mission. November, we developed another session of training in another province of Panama, 15 persons trained, 16 hours of training, including 1 mission. By December, it was not 2020, December 2019, we closed our year of training, giving a professional use of drone in the City of Knowledge in Panama. We trained 12 persons, 32 hours of training. We start January with a Pix4D Mapper essential trainings. This was, the main scope was the analysis, the processing of the data we acquired. This was a training, online training. Here, 3 flying labs were training in America, Dominican Flying Lab, Peru Flying Labs and Panama Flying Labs, 12-person, 24 hours of training, 3 days. We organized it with picks for the instructors. And by March, when the COVID arrived, by March, we gave a very interesting training named Gardi Subduct 360 Degrees. This was more a co-creation workshop, and including data analysis. We train one community at the university. We invite them because they live in an island. They came. 8 persons from that community were trained. We developed a co-creation workshop, 8 hours. But it was really interesting, a very good experience, and this is talking about empowerment and development. They are indigenous, and the indigenous community well organized in Panama. And this is a very interesting project that where they have to move. This community have to be resettled because of sea level rise. And we obtained some products. We were invited for monitoring the area where they are going to move. And when we deliver the products, they do not understand too much. So we invite them to teach them what they can do with their data. And here we are talking about community engagement. We are talking about the local of power. We are talking about helping the people to take advantage of their data. Here you can find, this is a theme of when we went to Mata Oscura, where we monitor the turtles. You can see here the turtles. This is a team of persons we trained with the equipment we use with the thermal camera for monitoring the turtles project. Here you can see this is a volunteer from our lab, and she's teaching a girl using the telo. You can see here in the back we have the rest of a group of persons also that were receiving the training. And talking about a little of numbers, because you have to take note of your numbers. Since we start and decide to train persons, until this moment, we have 123 persons trained. We have run our programs in training more than 200 hours. We have about 5 different programs, which vary in the content, but always include the ethical and responsibility use of the drones. And this is part of the results of our trainings, because this is one of the services we give. And here is the community. I was talking about the indigenous community. They were invited to the university. We share with them one entire day in a classroom, but for them was amazing to see their community in an omniscient way, 360 degrees. They had the opportunity to identify their schools, where they are going to move, the roads, etc., etc. And these people, they are considered, or they are taken into consideration because of the age. They will have, like, the ancient people will have like the most knowledge. For example, he is in charge of the land distribution, and it's amazing to share with them and have the opportunity to teach them and identify them, their community in a different way. This is the type of trainings we gave at Panama Flying Labs. And you can see it's not just about the drone, and this is how I close. It's not just about the drone. It's to teach the persons, the community, how to understand the data. Even if they do not acquire data, or if they didn't flew the drone, they need to understand for what the data can be used. Thanks a lot. If you have, sorry. This is our last program. We are going to launch our pilot project tomorrow. Tomorrow start our month of launching. And this project we are launching, the name is Geonautas. It's a virtual workshop that is where we are going to train youth persons between 12 and 15 years. We are going to use full STEM methodology. Sorry, it's in Spanish because we are just going to launch it. But what we are creating an opportunity for the young persons that are at home, because at Panama, we continue at home. And what we did, we arranged our program to be given virtually from home, so they can receive it at home. And we are going to teach them GIS. We are going to introduce them in the GIS so they can identify use case, and they can have practical guides of using the drones, um, programming the drones with Scratch, and have a lot of fun. That's what we want, to teach them and allow them to have fun. So we are on board this wonderful project. We are very excited about that. And this is our logo. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your attention. And sorry for if you hear the dogs and the kids. We continue working from home. So thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dania. Dania, I would like to ask you, I mean, what has changed with the COVID-19 that you've seen? Will the way we conduct training programs or empower people or do the capacity building change now with this learning, new learning?
Yes, we have a big challenge. And if you ask me right now, we are engaged with this challenge. And our challenge is like, how can you reach at the community? Can you teach them about drones now that they are at home? And that's what we are doing right now. We adapt our programs uh, to reach the kids at home. We start with this pilot project uh, because with education, our schools were closed, so the kids has nothing to do. And with these virtual classes, because everyone is going to receive classes at home, the classes won't have the same rhythm, the same amount of hours, so they will have 3 hours, and we want to take advantage of these 3 hours. And we create a virtual training, and at the end they are going to use the drones because we are going to send it, we are going to deliver, and they will have the time, the opportunity to use it for 1 hour. The Telos battery is just about 10 minutes. So, but they will have at least 1 hour of using the equipment. And at the end, we are building capacity in young people. But this is a big challenge. We are facing big challenge with COVID. And what we are doing is digital transformation for all our content. All our content, we are in this process of migration to digital transformation in terms of training. We used to go and train them at their region, at their province, or they came to university. Now we have to change this, and this is what we are doing.
Interesting. And how excited are the children when they learn about drones? I mean, do they love it? What is their reaction?
Well, it's like we are going to launch these Geonautas next week. But with the previous experiences, the training we had at the public school, that was that face, that smile, it has no price. It's like, and if they have the opportunity to have the drone, because in Panama, the kids, yes, they can buy like a small toy, but it's not the same. And if they can identify and understand that this is a tool that several years after they can use when they will have their jobs, and they can be called pilots, for them it's like, wow, I can believe it. And I have the experience to train, the age average is like starting with kids of 8 years and people of 50 years. And it's amazing because the kids say, okay, and give me, and they go. And sometimes you have people, of 30, and they are like, do I press here or not? So I think that starting with them since the very beginning, it's a great idea.
What about the girls and the boys? Do they interact differently with the drones?
In this aspect, no, at the end, no. I think that when we had that training, at the very beginning, the girls were like, I don't know. But at the end, we had good pilots, and they were girls. And for example, in our lab, um, our staff is like, when we go, we usually have like three women, and then you can have 4 or 6 men, but you will have like, you can be like 40-60, or sometimes 50-50. Sometimes we are just 2 ladies given the training. So we are teaching them that as women, we can do it also.
So in the beginning, they feel reluctant that I don't know if I can do it or not, but later they can.
Yeah, no. At the beginning, everybody is like, uh, can I do it? But at the end, they take the controls, they take the command, and this is like, and they are excited since the very, they want to take it. But then when we start, because we start with to talk with them, talking about ethics and and use the responsible use of the drone. So they say they start thinking like, should I be allowed to use the drone right now? And then we explain about the size, etc., etc., and they say, okay, we'll go ahead.
What about the urban kids and the rural kids? Do you see any difference in them, the way they interact with technology?
We don't have experience with rural kids, but the area we were at, the urban area, it is they are from an area that doesn't have too much incomes, for example, and they were very excited. Talking about urban versus rural, the guys that you saw, the young persons you saw, they are rural. They were in a province far away from the main city, and I don't think, because of now that you have a cell phone everywhere you go, they're very used to technology. They're not scared. Even at the island where we went, uh, we were when we were flying the island in the project of Guardians of Duke, what we have were all kids. We don't have old persons. It was amazing because we have ladies and kids. The men never moved to see what we were doing, but the kids and the ladies, they came with us when we were flying, and we explained them. Everywhere you go with the community, if you have the opportunity to have community engagement, you have to take that advantage, and that's what we did. And we explained that, like, okay, we have to give it space, safety first, and now we are going to capture all your island. And we explained them, and they were very enthusiastic and excited.
I'll just show you two pictures from my experience. Can you see this picture?
Give me 1 second.
Is this visible to you?
Where I know we're not seeing that.
Okay, just a minute. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
This was one of my first presentations that I made in one of the universities. And among so many quotes, there were just two girls who were presenting. And this was one of my first conferences where I presented. And this girl, you see the blush in her face. It was after my presentation. It was like, I got so inspired by you. And I'm like, yeah, so we don't need to feel intimidated by so many black coated men around us that we can have our own space. And after that, wherever I have gone, Dania, you won't believe, it's a similar situation. Even in this village, I had insisted that I want at least 40% women in this batch, but there were no girls. And I asked them, where are the girls? So I knew this family that was supposed to be there. So there were at least three girls in that family and one more aunt and everyone. So I'm like, where are they? So somebody's cooking, somebody's looking after the kids, somebody's doing that, somebody's doing this. I'm like, why aren't they coming to the session? And I had insisted, I will not teach if you don't bring in the girls. But the girls in India just don't step forward, and I don't understand why. I may have had so many conferences after that I can show you, but then it's many times that I'm the only one in the panel who's talking about drones as a girl, and it kind of feels very lonely. Does that happen to you sometimes?
Yes, that happens. Sometimes we are invited some panels, and like uh, 10 men and then the one woman. It's something like that, no? But we are very focused in the gender, and we try to push a lot. We try
You're
to
trying to push a
push a
lot.
lot.
Yes.
Even if we have with these Geonautas, in few minutes I have a call with the instructors that are volunteers, and we invite, and we are pushing to have like at least four or three of them, or in each module to have at least one woman, because it's important to demonstrate them that you need women. When we had our conference, we always are counting the amount of women we have, trying to push, and we are in a 40-60 in most of our activity. Sometimes we reach 33,
Hmm.
but as staff, we try to be like 50-50 always, or sometimes we are 100.
So even in this course, when I had announced the scholarship, I had said that we will be giving 10 scholarships to girls from the vulnerable communities. So there were a couple of men who said that, what's wrong with the men? Why are you against them? I'm like, I'm not against you. We need to get the shyness out of the girls and let them step out. Girls in this course, what do you feel? Am I right, wrong? Would you have taken up this course if there was no scholarship? Or, would you have known about this course if we would not have reached out to you? Why does it happen? Do you see it in your campuses that there are less girls stepping forward, or there are more girls stepping forward, or we are just assuming this to be wrong or right? What do you think? And even the same kind of disparity between the people from the urban cities and people from not so urban cities, or tier 2 tier 3 cities, or let's say villages. Do you see a difference in the way they feel confident about using these technologies, or owning them, or being a part of it? What do you guys think in the class? Mariam, you can unmute yourself if you want to talk.
Can you can you see me? Hello? Hello everybody.
Hi,
Hello.
Hello to the
Mariam.
class. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can see you, we can hear you.
Yes. I can say that in my country, actually women are more empowered, but they never demonstrate it. And this is really frustrating because I worked a lot in the rural areas of Georgia. And I can say that women were more innovative and creative, and the most risky projects and the proposals I received were from women rather than from men. And I think it's a cultural thing at some point. And in my country, unfortunately, though women and men have equal rights in terms of property ownership, women are not having their property as a collateral, so they are not confident in proposing something, but in handling the project, yes. And this is the big disparity that we have. Women cannot take, for instance, grants from the banks and the microfinance organizations because they do not have the collateral, which is very important. Despite the fact that by law they have right, they have equal right, but by tradition usually the property goes to men. And the confidence at some point comes from the education you have, access to education you have, and how the society accepts you. So, but I can say that I'm really lucky person because I worked on women's platform in Georgia and women entrepreneurs, and they were extremely innovative and they were handling situations that I think no man can handle The men that I know, at least. So yes, but about women in technology, we have a few women in technology in here. I can say that one or two, and those things that they're doing is more ICT than dealing with drones or something. It's more or less on mapping and the mapping projects and the gaming project and so on. Yes, I think
Yeah,
it's
it
a
all comes with
traditional
gaming actually.
perceptions about women that women cannot do tech. I don't understand why, but
But
yeah.
what do women feel? Women are confident about doing the tech. Here we have a lot of girls who are from engineering colleges from Nepal
Yes.
and from different engineering colleges. So I would like to hear from one of the girls in Nepal
Yeah.
who has come from the Girls in Tech Nepal community. What do you feel?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Hi, Benita.
Hello. I would love to say everyone that I really miss this class, and I've learned a lot of new things about this drone. I've never heard a single word about this kind of courses, and through Girls in Tech, I got to know about this kind of scholarships, and I just applied. I thought I would get it, but in my mind it was like, can I get it actually? And then I just realized that I received a scholarship. And thank you very much, Dr. Ruchi ma'am, and all the speakers were extremely amazing. Their courses, their presentation, their stories, all we have all been motivated highly by all of you guys, and I'll miss all of my fellow friends who have been with us during this whole time. And what I feel about my country is girls have always been inferior than male, and in every higher post always men are the one to actually reserve their post in those kinds of higher post, and girls are always thought inferior. And I don't think girls do have less power than male. They do deserve equal opportunities as male do. And yes, country says we do have equal rights, and we have to work hands in hands or work together in any kind of field. But I see these things lacking very much in especially in country like Nepal, and I feel it's similar in many other countries too. But I feel if a girl can actually lead, then the country will develop accordingly. Yes, so this is all I thought, and I would like to conclude. Thank you once again.
I was asking this question to one of my male colleagues in India that why do you feel that there are less women in drones? So he's like, drones actually require a lot of slogging. You need to go in the field. You need to probably stay outdoors for a long time, and you need to be tanned and be in the dust and the dirt. Girls probably don't feel that the need to do that. And right from the engineering colleges days, it was a kind of norm that if there are assignments which have to be done in the books or journals, the girls would do it for the boys. And if there are more rough kind of assignments like going in the field, the boys would do it for the girls. I don't know if it's true, but because I come from a medical college, in us it was not like that. So what do you guys think? Is it the reason that girls are slightly more lazier than the boys, that's why they don't come forward in this kind of a field? What do you feel? The boys can say that probably.
No, ma'am, that's so. This is not right. Actually, I want to share a story.
Yes, please.
I always want to study engineering, but in our society, when as it was the government college, I didn't. I had to accept the scholarship through myself. Like whatever they give me, I have to study that. And I had got the scholarship in mechanical engineering, and I have to study that. And I was so happy to accept that. And then my not my own parents but my relatives were like, really, you will study mechanical? This is so hard to this is so hard for girls to maintain that machine, to use that. This will be so tough for you, like that. And I will know this will not your all mentality is so bad. This is so bad thinking. Like, if we change the society, then automatically girls will be at the front always. This is all the
So
societies
how are you
they
planning to
think as the
change?
same.
How are you planning to change this norm, Shweta? What will you do
Yes, yes,
that
ma'am. The
this?
first thing I want to like uh, they told me, as after this my father told me, think once, do you really want to study mechanical? And I told that yes, if uh, if you put one after 0000, then that will be so huge number. So I want to be that one. If I will do my best in this field, then many of course will come and join me uh, uh, after me, like my sister, my own, not my own sister, but my relative, my one sister. She is also now studying mechanical, not here in Dubai, and she is doing her best. And now I think I sorted out this problem, not totally, but a little. I don't think lots of parents will think that girls should not study mechanical and all. And I really want to do something in flood disaster. Here, no one. I talked about this with my one colleague. He is also mechanical engineer, like his boy, and he was like, why you want to involve in this? Okay, if we can't change the society, then who will change the society? We are the future of our society. Then if we can't think from now, then I don't think our society will be changed. Our society will be the same entire the life. And this is the thing, and I will do, ma'am, I will surely do, and I will keep updating you.
Better do that. Better do that. And
Yes, ma'am, that
secondly, I
is
would like to hear from the men and from the boys. What are your perspectives about empowerment? Do you think that we girls are too noisy about empowerment, that we already are too much empowered and we're taking away your privileges? Or this is all okay? What we are saying is right or wrong or whatever? We want to know your comments. And whether drones, I mean, whether technology like drones can help us probably get the girls closer to what it is.
Hello, ma'am. This is Amit here.
Yes, Amit.
So basically, speaking on this thing, like for example, if we compare boys and girls and all, so that differentiation actually begins from the entry of education. When a child goes to school or something, they are firstly taught that a girl should stand in this queue, a boy should stand in this queue. So this is how they start differentiating that okay, they are different and we are different. When a teacher like for example, if a boy submits a copy and is not completed, he gets a like a slap and the girl won't get a slap. This all goes on. So then what happens is they actually start discriminating, not discriminating, rather I will say differentiating, that okay, they are a separate entity and we are a separate entity. Let's say when there is a fight between a girl and a boy, mostly they say, the teacher will say, oh, she's a girl, why did you hit her? That's a point. Why the teacher is differentiating? If she is differentiating, the child will learn that okay, she is a girl. I will have to differentiate between a girl and not hit her, or maybe not fight with her, or maybe anything.
Amit,
So
and
these are,
you take a lot of training programs yourself. How many of your trainees are girls?
mostly I will say only 10%, hardly.
Why?
But what happens
Why are there
basically is,
less girls
like
in
for
drones?
example, when I take
My question to the community is not the entire inequality. I'm just saying about drone community, or about where we're talking about technologies which are emerging technologies, and we're talking about how do we bridge the gap not just between the girls and the boys, but even the urban and the poor or different sectors of the society. For example, how can we ensure that only doesn't become a rich boy's toy? It becomes a toy for everybody.
right. So, like
How do
for
we do that?
example, it was a question in a group discussion also when I was taking up training in the Gati, like Government Aviation Training Institute in Bhubaneswar. I was taking the ground station training, and then we had a conference. Like there was a like special question from a mentor of us, that why there are no girls. Then first of all, he showed us a slide showing that how many female pilots are there in commercial pilots are there in India, and how many males are there. So he shared that let's say there are 80 men and 20 women. The 20 women would be beforehand will be demoralized. Okay, you don't need to go out. You don't need to work outside.
Got
Try
it.
to be restricted to what you want to do. Try to do everything in your home. Don't be a free bird. So these are the things that I kept in mind prior to they think to get out. So
Ananta,
ultimately,
Ananta would like to say something. Ananta, would you like to unmute yourself?
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you and I can see you reverse. Can you put on your video?
Okay. Can you see me, ma'am?
Yes, hi Ananda.
Hello, ma'am. So actually, I'm from Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, an
Interesting.
ISRO center, and we find only 6 people in a total batch of 6 girls in total batch of 140 people out there. It is pretty surprising. We have taken the lead and persuaded the institute's administration, admin, to actually make a quota for girls, and they are actually not ready to do it.
Yeah, why
And
do
we
we give
really don't
quotas?
know
See, there are
anything.
it's a competitive seat, yeah. You don't give quotas. I don't really believe that girls should receive any quotas or any special scholarships or considerations. We are
Maybe I see it as a way of empowerment. Like, for
yeah.
example,
So
I've seen people to.
I personally feel that girls should not be given those kind of special quotas. If anyone who deserves that seat should come in. But then the reason is, I mean, I don't know why girls don't come. Problem with that is that even if you
Yes,
give them
ma'am.
the quota, they will not come. I think so. What do you think?
Maybe not. Actually, when I was in the admission procedure, I have seen a lot of girls go back because their parents are not ready to send them this
The
far.
parents will not
They
come.
have a lot of
Right.
there are a lot of restrictions. I don't know.
Rohit, what would you like to say? I thought you were unmuting yourself. Thanks for
Yeah,
that.
Hi everyone. So, Dr. Ruchi, actually, I wanted to share my experience from the field, and I've done a lot of surveys in the rural areas, and over the years, what I've discovered is you can trust the women more than the men when you're doing field work there. The reason being that they are more aware of their surroundings and they are very sure about, say, usually the surveys that we do, we need to look for bats and bat roosts. So when I go hunting for these bat roosts, it's always the women of the house who exactly know where to find these bats. But they won't come in front of us immediately. The men will be keep dilly dallying and asking us all useless questions. And in that time, I'd tell my partner who's doing the survey with me, I'll tell her, you go and ask the woman in the house. She'll know perfectly where it is. So it's really important to pull them out and help them break this cultural barrier that exists. They will be always hiding in the shadows and not coming forward. So that's a very I feel that is one big hindrance. So that I think that is more important to do. And like Amit said, it starts from school. That's the place where they are coming in contact with the larger society, and it's important to show them that the society is different, and that's the message they will take back to their houses also. That's how they'll slowly start becoming empowered. That's what I feel.
Many of you in this batch are from locations or communities which are not as privileged. Now, for example, I am from Mumbai. I'm from the city of Mumbai, but I feel that the kids in Mumbai are privileged. They have everything easy. I don't know, it's my perception or not, but maybe if many of you who do not come from these kind of cities or from these kind of communities and you have come to the mainstream technology, how was this kind of transition for you? Did you feel anything different? Did you feel less empowered, or you felt that you were laughed at, or you were looked down upon? Did you have this kind of experience which was lowering your confidence in some way? Anybody would like to unmute yourself and say? So in India, actually, we have this small town syndrome that people from small town cannot really keep up with the boys and girls from the big town. And whenever we go to higher education, and we really feel this pinch. I don't know if any of you must have felt that. So Amit would like to say something. Yes, Amit.
So as I started working in class 8, ninth almost, so I belong to a small city named Balasore. Like people, okay, they understand what is Bhubaneswar, but they don't know what is Balasore. That is a small town in Odisha, which is having the integrated test range here. We have the DRDO here and other stuffs. So then, what happened is like when I used to go for exhibitions and all, I used to say I am from Balasore. Oh, where is that? Okay, Odisha. Odisha. In Odisha, people fly drones. Like it was a big surprise for them that Odisha has got drones. So then after what happened is I used to say, like, I used to feel ashamed, and I used to say that okay, I'm from Bhubaneswar, because I had a residence there also. Then there is like, okay, still Bhubaneswar is really backward. We have Delhi, we are from Kolkata, we are from metropolitan cities and all. But then I used to say, okay, so but you have got IIT Mumbai, you have got IIT Bhubaneswar, you have got triple IT there, we have got triple IT Bhubaneswar here. So there is equal stepping matching going on.
Right. Sunny would like to say something. Yes, Sunny.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, is it audible?
Yes, you're audible.
I'm considering, for example, if I am a CEO of one of the drone companies, then sending a woman or a girl person to a field and a male person to a field, then the first thing that I would certainly think that sending a male person is of less concern for me, because sending a male person, I'm not here comparing the capabilities of a woman or a man, but the things which I'm thinking
Sunny, I'm losing you.
any person.
Hello. I'm losing you. Your voice is breaking.
Hello. Is it clear now?
Yes, better.
But before sending a woman or a girl person, we have to pre-book the tickets. We have to look after the safety issues of the hotel, and we have to even see a companion to send one more person as for a logistic support and for the safety concerns. And even after sending, there are a lot of issues, like if something wrong goes, the company has to be blamed. A lot of it will become a social media, and lot of negative things again comes that you are not taking proper safety measures of women. It is not because, and when we send a male person, we can even trust him for a field survey during the night times if there is a nighttime data set or any nighttime data acquisition. But for a woman, we have to consider that before 6 or something like that for safety reasons again. And one more thing,
You
like
won't believe, Sunny,
and the
you won't
hot
believe that this very same thing that you are telling me, it was told to me by a women CEO about her female employee. That if there is a field operation, she would prefer to send a male, not a female, because a female is too much of a baggage.
yes, ma'am. Because this thing can never be I think that it will be made equal, because it cannot never be equal in this society in which we are living. Anything may go wrong anytime. And even sending a girl in the hot summer day, we would think twice, because any lack of dehydration or any other things. But here I'm
Exactly.
not comparing the capabilities of a woman with a man, but there are a lot of things that we have to think, and how to bring back the person, and a lot of things. That is why one person has initially spoken that in his company the ratio is too less than 10, nearly 10%.
Can you guys see my screen? Now, this is a dream project that I have. I call it Project Wings. And the bottom of this project Wings, after
Yes.
the drone inspiration day, the drone design thinking, map my world, map my drone for schools, I have something called drones for daughters. I don't know how successful this will be or how I will implement it, because I feel that there are a lot of social barriers that I will have to cross before I make drones available for daughters. I don't know. And I would really need help of everybody to suggest what could probably be done. So we are looking for mentors for Project Wings as well. And thankfully, now we have with us Electronic Sector Society Council of India, Electronic Sector Skills Council of India. I'm so sorry for the jumble. And this will ensure that the drones become available at a skill level in all the schools and colleges across India. And but the major part over here would be breaking the barriers, as we are discussing right now. And so we all probably can keep continue thinking about it. And let's see how we can do what we can do, and make it available to everybody. For me, it's like technology should be available for everybody, irrespective of a gender, race, city, location, whoever you are, wherever you are. So what do you guys think? Am I being too realistic, I mean too dreamy about this entire thing?
Can I? Hello.
Yes, yes, Maria.
Yeah. Can I add something?
Sure,
I think
please.
yeah. Yes, this is an amazing project, and through empowerment of girls, economy starts to change in the country. I can say this very honestly. And when I started my project about women and young girls, it's also seemed unbelievable for everybody. I remember those faces when I said that we're going to establish the platform for women and young entrepreneurs in Georgia. Were just nodding their heads because they could not say anything, but we made it work. I think it's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
And one thing that I want to add to this, I was always empowered by men in my country rather than by women. It's very
Okay.
interesting thing. And when I did my survey, 80% of my project participants said that usually when they felt disadvantaged, felt disadvantaged because of women, because they paid attention what other women thought about them, not men.
That's what even
So
Palak
take
said in
the
chat right now. Palak also said a very
yeah,
same thing in the chat
yeah.
right now.
Yes, women disadvantage each other. Like all of the women that I met, they were empowered by their brothers, husbands, I don't know. And it's very important to encourage women. And those things that other people said, I think it's a matter of attitude that you let a woman to open the door first or open a door for her first. But giving them equal opportunities is a different thing. So caring about the person is one thing, but giving her an opportunity to choose is a different thing. So good luck with your project, and I would love to participate.
Sure. Thanks, Mariam. And one more aspect that I would like to talk about is equality in terms of language. Do you feel that the language ability, for example, if I know great English, I will be heard, and if I don't know English or if I don't know the dominant language of the country, then I would not be even considered to be, maybe, my idea may not be considered, my project may not be considered. I may feel left out. Does that happen to you sometimes? Any of you have experienced that? If you use your local language, if you give a speech in your local language, in your own language, then people don't take you that seriously. Does that happen? Do you feel language barrier?
I never felt that way.
Maybe a native language is more convenient to transfer the information. That is my experience.
Yeah, of course, to teach, that's the best thing. But when you come to a platform like conferences, or wherein you have a multi-stakeholder meetings, or do you feel that kind of thing? Sometimes I
They are
feel in India,
comfortable.
we were colonized by British about till 1947. So here I feel sometimes that you're judged by your English speaking abilities. And so if there is a very great guy, let's say from a very small town, who's always talking in Hindi and presenting in Hindi, he may not be taken that seriously. That's what I've seen. So even in drone industry in India, I'm seeing a lot of domination happening by certain groups and suppression happening to some other groups. And this is leading to a lot of disparity. I don't know, this is my observation. I may be completely wrong. Anyways, but the takeaway for I really wish a takeaway for all of you from this course should be: how do you make technology accessible to all? Now this is the tagline even of my company and everything that I do. So probably because we have been in this course together, and I've been trying to show you that why this is important, that we stay close to the vulnerable communities and we try to ensure that when we need the technology, where we need it, it's always available. So for that, we will have to break barriers, probably travel to these places, interact with them, teach them, talk to them, show them the technology, make them own them. So somewhere we have to start breaking our barriers, and this is not one person's job. Probably collaboration is the only key for it, but being open for it is very, very important. Amit Kumar Nayak is saying, yeah, that's again true. So location matters, language matters, gender matters, race matters, everything matters sometimes. But let's break barriers, and let's go back to our lives after this course tonight, and feeling that we have a responsibility towards the society. So with that, if anybody has any more closing remarks, you can do that. Thank you so much.
Hello, ma'am. Radhika here.
Yes, please.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I just want to comment on one thing. When I was in Bangalore, I was doing my GATE classes there for aeronautical engineering, and I've seen one type of equality for men and women in every field. Like I have seen a woman conductor in bus. I have seen women driver on metro, and I have seen everywhere. Means I think in Karnataka, the more empowerment is women. So I like this thing in Bangalore.
Great. Nice, Radhika. So people are asking me what next. Let me make up my mind. Let me prepare. Every course takes a lot of preparation. And in the month of May, actually, we had a tragedy in our family, and we lost our father-in-law. For almost 15, 20 days, I was not in a state of mind to even think what to do. But then my only way of coming out of the depression was to teach and to become social again. So I launched the course. I announced this course on about, I think, 24th or 25th of May, and the course was supposed to begin on 1st of June. So I gave myself a very less window to prepare. I'm a very impulsive person. I do things off the bat, and I don't know what's next. But yes, we are preparing for Project Wings. We have a lot coming up. We want to do certification programs for ArcGIS, and we want to do some more drone training programs, advanced drone training programs, especially in disasters. And we'll be probably running more courses on disasters because that's the most important topic which is close to my heart. So these are the few things which are just around the corner. Besides that, I'll read your feedback that you are providing, and we'll plan accordingly to that. And the experience from this course for me has been that we all really want this kind of a connection. Even in an online course, we respect this kind of a connection where somebody comes online and spends time and speaks to us and explains us and answers the questions. So I like this format a lot, and I am realizing from the feedback that you're providing that you also like this format a lot, and I would try to maintain this as much as possible. But we also know that there are many people who can't do it like this, who cannot come online live for every lecture. So we will have to create an alternative format for them as well. There are a lot of demands coming in for the same course, a repeat course again, which again I feel probably can be complicated because the speakers may or may not be available. But I don't know how will it work, what will work. So I'm seeing, because everything is an experiment for all of us every day as entrepreneurs, and so we see what works and what doesn't work, and what works we do it a little more. I'll study that and I'll see that. Before we say good night and goodbye to everybody, Dania, I guess you're online. I would like to thank you so much for coming and being with me on the last day of this very important course of mine. And I would like to thank you on behalf of not just India Flying Labs, but all the flying labs who have been a part of this course, and all the speakers and all the students from all the different countries. Thank you so much, Dania.
Thanks to you. This is an honor to be the last. You know, you always left the last. I don't think so. The best. But thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure to be part of this great, great challenge.
Thank you so much, Dania, and thank you very much, everybody. We still have 15 days window for all of you who have not completed the assignments to complete them, and we will probably, if possible, hold a graduation ceremony on 15th of July so that all of you can complete your pending assignments and then be ready for that, and then we can meet again, probably have a topic to talk about, and then do the ceremony. So that's my plan for the next 15 days, and we can still have something around the corner. The classroom, the Google Classroom will be on. You can interact on the stream. You can still share whatever you are learning, and I would really like you to read and to learn and to watch YouTube videos or to watch interviews, to watch podcast or whatever you can on all the topics that have been discussed in the last 1 month. This is how you will take the learning further. Every term that you came across. For example, it was azimuth. I don't know what azimuth is. Probably I'll go into research and understand that in and out. So this is how I learn. Probably you can also do the same way. That while the course is still active, we can still interact and find out and share our learnings with each other. And second, what we know is Facebook group will always remain active. I would kind of archive Google Classroom after 15 days, but I would keep the Facebook group alive, and I would really earnestly urge all of you to be a part of the Facebook group so that we can continue interacting with each other and remain a community for the rest of our careers or our lives until we get bored. Anyways, so thank you, everybody. Good night.
Ma'am, graduation ceremony will be on 15 July.
Yes.
Oh, my birthday.
Good night. Good night.
Okay, okay,
More happy time.
ma'am. Good night.
Good night.
Dr. Ruchi and the whole Caerobotics team, I'm sending you a link in my own native language, and there is one more poster from one group member, so you can open it up and keep it as a reminder that you did a great job for us. Thank you.
And Saksham is not online here, but then let's thank Amit and Saksham to be amazing mentors of this course and amazing support system for me. I would not have feel as encouraged and as empowered without these two great guys next to me. I didn't give them too much of stress, but then just having two people next to you as a backup, it's more than enough to feel strong and fulfilled. Thank you so much, you guys. You are amazing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. 15th of July is the last day for the assignment, Suraj.
We will be here in the same link. We will be there in the same link.
Sorry?
At 15 July, we will be active at the same link. Or you will give the another one.
I'll try to keep the same link active. Let me see if the same link works, or if it doesn't work, we'll probably have to create, because the links are generated when you create an event in the calendar. I'm not sure the same link will work because this event was only till today. So probably we'll have a new link.
Okay, so you will give our certificate at 15 or tomorrow or the date after tomorrow?
I'll keep them ready as soon as your 30 assignments are over. But I would prefer to give it on the.
I had completed all the
graduation
assignments.
ceremony. Yeah, I would prefer to do it in a ceremony. I mean, come on, we've come all this way.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That
That
was
will
a
be the best
surprise.
day for me. At the birthday, I will get the best gift ever.
Yes.
Actually, not my birthday, our birthday. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Good night. Thank
Good
you.
night. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. See you
Take care. Okay, ma'am. Okay. Bye.
And probably will come up with new surprises.